Um, okay, let's start with the session. Last session was about human body. So in today's session, we'll be learning about gravity and Earth. Okay. So imagine that I'm saying that you got a first prize in a competition. You'll be so excited, right? You'll start to jump here and there around the room. So have you ever thought after you finished jumping, why you reached the ground? So after you finished, you reach the ground, right? So why do we reach the ground instead of just floating in the air? Have you ever thought like that? Okay. So that is because of gravity. Okay. So we come down due to gravity. Okay. So what is gravity? Gravity is a force of attraction that pulls all the objects towards the earth. Okay, so gravity is a force of attraction that pulls all the objects towards the earth. Okay, so if gravity is not there, we'll be just floating. Okay, so you can see in the image, right? An apple is falling downwards only because gravity pulls it. Okay. So the next is we'll be learning about a new word which is air resistance. So what is air resistance is the time taken for an object to float in the air. Okay. So if you take a ball, its air resistance will be less only, right? Because it is very heavy and it will reach the ground very soon. It won't be in the air for a longer time. But if you take a feather, it has more air resistance because it is very light and it will take time to reach the ground, right? It will take more time to reach the ground, so its air resistance will be more. So if the weight of the object is more, then the air resistance will be lower. Okay, so that heavy ball is going fast, right? Because it's very heavy and its air resistance is low. Okay. Okay, so the next is one more example. Try throwing a paper and a rock. So which will go first? Which has more air resistance? A paper or a rock? Which has more air resistance? Which will be in the air for a longer time? Can anyone say?
Say paper.
Okay, let us see.
The rock.
No. No. See, the paper is very light in weight, right? So it will take a long time to reach the ground. So it has more air resistance. It will be in the air for a longer time, right? Yes, right? But if you see the rock, it will reach the ground very soon. Yes, right? It will take just 2 seconds to reach the ground. So more air resistance means paper has more air resistance because it will be in the air for a longer time. Okay. So it is clear that object with weight will have less air resistance. So an object with weight will have less air resistance because it will be in the air for less time only, right? It will reach the ground very fast. So it has less air resistance, weight objects. Okay. So now we saw about the weight of the object. So even the shape of the objects affects the time to fall. Okay, so let us see an example. So they are taking a paper, a flat paper, a plain paper and a crushed paper. Okay. So they are taking a crushed paper and a flat paper. Both are paper, right? Both will have the same weight since they both are paper. So now let us try putting them in the same height. Can you guess which will go first? Which will go first? The
The
crumbled
crushed
paper?
paper.
Yes, very good. The crumbled paper will go first. See, let me show you. Yeah, you can see that the crumbled paper. Yes, yes. The crumbled paper falls fast, right? So what we come to say here is when the area of the object is less, then the air resistance will also be less. So here both the paper has same weight, okay, same weight, but the area of the crumbled paper is less. Yes, right, the size of the crumbled paper is less, so it will have less air resistance. It will fall very fast. But the flat paper is very large, right? The area is very more in the flat paper. So when you put the flat paper, the air resistance will be more. It will be in the air for a longer time. Okay. So the next is, without gravity, we won't be living on this earth. Yes, right? Without gravity, we won't be on this earth. We'll be floating here and there. Okay. So it is like a super glue around the earth, which makes all the objects stick to it. So gravity is like a super glue around the earth. So just take this ball as an example. Wait. So this is a ball. If you put super glue around this ball, every object will stick to it, right? Like pencil will stick to it, every object will stick to it, right? So it is like a super glue around the earth, which makes all the objects stick to it. Okay. Okay. So that is why if the super glue is not there, right, we won't be sticking on this earth. We'll be like floating around the earth, and sometimes we'll go out of space. Okay. So gravity is very important. So now, gravity was found by Sir Isaac Newton when an apple fell on his head. So it was found by Sir Isaac Newton. So let us see the video. So one day he was sitting very tired under a tree, apple tree, and suddenly an apple fell on his head, and he got a doubt. Okay, you know what doubt? Why did the apple fall down to the ground and not up or sideways? So why did the apple fall down? It can go up also, right? An apple can fall up also, left or right. So why did the apple fall down? So he got a doubt. And then he found that there was a special kind of force attracting towards the earth called gravity. Okay, he found that there was a special kind of force which was attracting towards the earth, and that is called gravity. Okay. So Sir Isaac Newton found gravity on 1666, the year 1666. Now the year is 2020, right? So Sir Isaac Newton found gravity on 1666, many years before. Okay. So, how did he find it? So he took the same apple. He tried throwing the apple up and left and right. Okay. So let us see the video. What happens when you try to throw the ball to the left or right? So first let us see up. It is again coming down, and down when you throw the ball down. Again it's going down only, right? And to the left when you throw the ball to the left, again it's going down only, and to the right also it's going down only. So no matter where you throw the ball, at which direction you throw the ball, it's going down only. So it can be any direction. After some time it will go down only. And then he found out that it was due to gravity. Okay. Okay. So the next is, so we and earth have an attraction towards each other. We are always near the earth, right? Because of gravity. So we and earth have an attraction towards each other. Okay. So now we saw what is gravity. So how it works on earth. Let us see with an easy experiment. Okay. So for this experiment, you'll be needing a tennis ball. You can see in the image, right, a tennis ball and a rubber band. So you have to put a rubber band around the tennis ball, okay? You can see in the image, right? And after putting, you leave your finger inside the rubber band and try to go away from the ball. The rubber band will not leave you, right? It will again pull you towards the earth. So this is how gravity works on earth. So whatever you try to go away from the earth, the gravity will not leave you. It will pull you towards the earth again. Okay. So whatever goes up will come down. Whatever goes up will come down. So let me try putting this pencil up and let us see whether it comes down or not. Okay. See, it's coming down only, right? It's not going up. It's coming down after some time. So whatever goes up will come down due to gravity. Okay. So now we saw about Earth's gravity. So now can we see about Moon's gravity? So there is just 1 by 6% of gravity on Moon, which means if you're 36 kg, if your weight is 36 kg on Earth, if you go to Moon, your weight will be just 6 kgs. Okay. So if you're 36 kgs on Earth, if you go to Moon, you'll be just 6 kgs. Nice, right? Okay. So this is very interesting thing. An astronaut called David Randolph Scott. So he's an astronaut. You know who is an astronaut? A person who travels into space. Okay. So an astronaut called David Randolph Scott. So he went to the moon and he tried putting a hammer and a feather on moon. And let us see what happened. See, he has a hammer in his one hand and feather in his another hand and tried putting both at the same time on the moon's surface. Okay, so 1 second. So what happened? Both went down at the same time. So this is the real video of the astronaut putting hammer and feather on moon. This is the real video. So I'll just play it for you. So he's putting them. So you can see that both are reaching at the same time on the surface of the moon. So on earth means first the hammer will come and then the feather will come after some time, right? But on moon, both landed down at the same time because there is no air. Okay, so that's why it landed at the same time. So what if there is no gravity on earth? What will happen if there is no gravity on earth? What will happen? Can we see a video? Okay, so all the water will rise up into bubble in the atmosphere. There'll be no air in the atmosphere. You won't be able to breathe. Everything will start to float, like vehicles, rocks, and even you will start to float in the atmosphere. Like a bird, you'll start to fly. And all the buildings, all the bridges, and all the trees will also start to float in the atmosphere. And it will be easy for you to even throw a vehicle into space. And you can play games in floating, and you won't even have the need to climb stairs because you can just fly, right? You can just fly, so you don't need to climb stairs and go into lifts. So this is all will happen if there's no gravity. Okay, so this is actually a movie clipper. So let us see what happens when there's no gravity. It's actually a movie clip. You can see in the image, right? The gravity is lost. Okay, so just see. So now the gravity is lost. So see, in the cartoon video we saw, right, the water is just rising up. So the water is rising in the swimming pool if there's no gravity. Like bubble, it's rising and everyone will start to float. So you can see everyone are starting to float, right? So they all are starting to float in the atmosphere. See, it is forming like a big bubble in the inside of the room. Okay, see? Okay, so these all will happen if there's no gravity. So everything starts to float. Even the water is starting to float in the atmosphere if there's no gravity. Okay, and then let us see what happened if gravity comes again. So now they all started to float and suddenly gravity is coming, and see what happens. So you can see it's like a bubble, right? Floating in the middle of the room. And now the gravity came. So see what happens now. Everything will come down again. See, everything comes down. Even the water comes down again when the gravity comes. So see how important gravity is. Okay. So, next is imagine you're in an amusement park and you're going on a roller coaster. So, imagine you're in an amusement park and you're going on a roller coaster. Okay, and suddenly there's no gravity. The gravity is going. What will happen? What will happen if there's no gravity and you're in the roller coaster?
We all will fly.
Yeah, you will all start to float in the air. We'll all float in the air if there's no gravity. Okay. So now let us see some interesting facts on gravity. Okay. So waves in
Ataka.
say
Just a minute. Gravity only holds all the things which are in the atmosphere tightly.
yes, it holds all the things. That's why we are now sitting on the chair. If there's no gravity, we'll be floating here and there.
All the things will float.
Yes, all the things will float. So, say. Say Shringa. Your voice is breaking, Shringa.
Water out and went only farm in a village. I will type it in chat box.
Okay. Okay, so the waves in the ocean are caused by the moon's gravity. Due to the moon's gravity only, the waves are forming. So if you're on the beach means you can see all the waves, right? You know how they are formed? The moon's gravity will make all the water come up. So the water will come up due to moon's gravity. But the earth's gravity will not leave the water to go up. So again the water will come down. So this is how the waves are formed, okay? So the next is, if you wanted to escape Earth's gravitational pull, you would have to travel 7 miles per second. So if you wanted to go away from Earth's gravity, you should go 7 kilometers in 1 second. In just 1 second, you have to go 7 kilometers, okay? And then next is, gravity keeps the moon in place. So gravity only keeps the moon in place. It is rotating, right? It is because of gravity. So now we have a small quiz, okay? So which force pulls all the objects towards the earth? Can anyone say which force pulls all the objects towards the earth?
Gravity.
Super. It is because of gravity. So who found gravity is the next question. Who found gravity?
Sir Isaac Newton.
Yes.
Isaac Newton.
Yes, very good. Sir Isaac Newton found gravity. Super. Next is, waves are formed due to the dash. I said right? Waves are formed due to the moon's gravity. Very good. Because of moon's gravity only the waves are formed. Super. Very good. So thank you for coming to this session, and if you want to continue the further sessions, contact 9842006728. Okay, and our next session will be day after tomorrow, and the link for that session will be sent tomorrow. Okay, so thank you for coming.